Today I want you to begin by imagining yourself the director of the Vienna State Opera. It's 1926, and it has been a busy day. You're a bit worried because the great soprano Maria Gherizza is scheduled to sing Tosca next Tuesday, and you still have to find a tenor to sing the part of Cavaradossi with her. Well, you think, let's worry about that when I've heard this young man from Poland. Let's have him in, Mr. Secretary. The young man, far from being the nervous fatty you see all too often, turns out to be strikingly handsome. But looks don't make singers. What are you going to sing, Mr. Kiepura? The young man's German was fluent, but he announced an Italian aria. I shall sing Di quella pira from Il Trovatore, he said. Noden zum Himmel, muttered Herr Director, using the German title, and he thought to himself, I'll bet I'm in for some awful top C's. The pianist played the introduction, and young Kiepura sang.
Di quella pila l'orrendo fuoco, tutte le fibre marciavano, empi spegnetela, occhio fra poco, col sangue patro la spegnerò, era già figlio prima d'amarti, non può frenarmi il tuo martir, madre infelice corro a salvarti.
The director, Franz Schulk, hesitated for just a few seconds. Then he said, Can you sing Cavaradossi with Miss Gherizza in Tosca next week? And so, on the 21st of September 1926, a 24-year-old Polish tenor walked onto the stage of the Vienna State Opera. The scenery represented a huge Italian church interior. In no time at all, it seemed, Jan Kiepura was up there with his paintbrushes, painting a portrait of the Madonna. He steps back and launches into his first big aria, Strange Harmony of Contrasts, in which he compares the colour of the Madonna's eyes with those of his beloved Tosca.
diverse bellezze insieme confonde, ma nel ritratto stai il mio solo pensiero, il mio solo pensiero sei tu.
Even in 1926, fame could disappear just as swiftly as it arrived. Without doubt, Jan Kiepura had triumphed in Tosca, but an even bigger hurdle now faced him. The composer of Tosca, Puccini, had been working on his great work Turandot when death had overtaken him. His friend, the composer Alfano, set to and finished the opera. And now, less than 2 years after the great man's death, the leading opera houses were rushing to stage his last and some would say his greatest work. It is still a difficult opera to cast nowadays, because it requires a supremely gifted soprano and a tenor with great power and stamina. At La Scala in April 1926, Toscanini had conducted the premiere with the Spanish tenor Miguel Fleta as the Caliph. The first German Caliph was, at incredibly short notice, Richard Tauber. Now Vienna was staging it with its very best singers. The Caliph was to be sung by the mighty Austrian Leo Slezak, a huge voice in a huge body. His opening performance on October the 14th was a resounding success. On the very next night, on the self-same stage, a different and younger cast had to give their performances. And so it was that young Kiepura had to follow Slezak. Kiepura was only 24. Slezak was 53 and had been singing at the State Opera before Jan Kiepura was even born. A flop seemed certain, especially since Kiepura's voice was so very different from Slezak's. And he was Polish, not Austrian. The Viennese had always been noted for their intense patriotism where singers are concerned. Well, before I tell you what happened, let's hear a recording which Kiepura made only 1 year later in Berlin. Nowadays it's a song everybody knows, but then it was new and unknown. The young singer brings his own special blend of power and poetry to it, and already that big top note has crept in. Jan Kiepura with Nessun Dorma from Turandot. And yes, you've guessed it, he was a sensation. He was asked to sing at least 30 more performances of Turandot that same year. Not only was the voice totally individual, he was strikingly good to look at, and that was something rare among tenors. Before long, he was appearing in Milan, Paris and Berlin, singing all the favourite roles, Don José in Carmen, Des Grieux in Manon, and as we're about to hear, Rodolfo in La Bohème. This is Act 1, and the scene is Paris. The attic, where Rodolfo lives, is cold, and his friends have gone out for a meal at the Café Momus. There's a knock at the door. A pretty girl asks if he can offer, well, you know the story, I'm sure. She drops her key, and while they're looking for it, their hands meet. Her tiny hand is very cold. Rodolfo says, Your tiny hand is frozen, and off we go into one of the most famous arias in all opera.
Gelida manida se la lasci riscaldar, cercar che giova al buio non si trova. Aspetti, signorina, le dirò con due parole. Chissà che faccio come devo. Chi son? Chi son? Sono un poeta. Che cosa faccio? Scrivo e come vivo. Vivo. Il povertà mia lieta, scialo da gran Signore, rimedigni d'amore, per sogni e per chimere, e per castelli in aria. L'anima mia l'aria.
Kiepura as an especially sensitive Rodolfo in La Bohème. With his voice and looks, it's hardly surprising he was soon making highly successful films. His ringing voice and his clear, if not accentless diction, made recording on film relatively easy, and his audience was soon numbered in millions. Here he is in a song from the film Das Lied einer Nacht, The Song of a Night.
Heute Nacht oder Knie. Sollst du mir sagen nur das eine, ob du mich liebst. Heute Nacht oder nie, will ich dich fragen, ob du deine Liebe mir gibst. Heute Nacht oder nie, will ich für dich allein nur singen, bis morgen früh. Nur die Melodie, heute Nacht oder nie. Seit ich dich einmal gesehen, ist um die Ruhe geschehen. Ich denk an dich allein, denk ich bei Tag und Nacht. Seit ich dich einmal gesehen, kann ich dir nicht widerstehen. Ich weiß es gewiss, dass diese Nacht uns beide glücklich macht. Heute Nacht oder nie, sollst du mir sagen nur das eine, ob du mich liebst. Heute Nacht oder nie, will ich dich fragen, ob du deine Liebe mir gibst. Heute Nacht oder nie, will ich für dich allein nur singen, bis morgen früh. Nur die Melodie, heute Nacht oder nie.
Jan Kiepura singing Heute Nacht oder Nie, Tonight or Never by Misha Spoliansky, recorded in 1932. Meanwhile, a pretty young Hungarian soprano called Marta Egert was making her name in films. Soon she and Kiepura were teamed together, and their films became even more successful. In 1936, when she was 24 and he was just 10 years older, they were married. Their films always had happy endings, and their marriage was a happy one too, like all good fairy stories. Just in case I've given the impression that she was in films only for her good looks, let me illustrate the fact that she really was a quite wonderful singer. Her coloratura was certain, and she could give life to the music while staying absolutely in tune. Here she is, recorded in Berlin just after their marriage. She's singing an arrangement of Johann Strauss's Blue Danube Waltz, and she sang it in a film called Wo die Lerche singt, where the lark sings.
Donau so blau, so bin ich auch schon wie das singt. Mein Herz singt.
Newlywed Mrs. Kiepura, Martha Eggert singing Johann Strauss's Blue Danube. From 1938 to 41, Jan Kiepura made appearances at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York and continued to give concerts and make films. With his wife, he starred in operetta on many occasions. For example, he played the lead in Lehar's Merry Widow no less than 300 times on Broadway. Their life was rich and fulfilled. Their son grew up to be an able baritone, and it was only Jan's death of a heart attack at the age of 64 that shattered the fairy tale. So now, let's take leave of him, as I, Robin Gregory, and my producer Alan Boyd say, be with us again next week for another in the series A Tenor Sang. For our last record today, I've chosen Jan Kiepura's scintillating performance of Rossini's La Danza. It's quite different from any other version, and in many ways I regard it as the best on record. La Danza.
Luna mezzo al mare, mamma mia, si salterà. L'ora bella per danzare, chi in amore non mancherà. Già la luna mezzo al mare, mamma mia, si salterà. L'ora bella per danzare, chi in amore non mancherà. Già la luna mezzo al mare, mamma mia, si salterà. Presto in danza a tondo, donne mie, venite tu. Un garzon veloce giocondo a ciascuna troverà. Finché il ciel brilla una stella e la luna splenderà. Il più bel con la più bella tutta notte danzerà. Mamma mia, già la luna in mezzo al mare. Mamma mia, si salterà. Bringo, 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 bringo. Mamma mia, si salterà. Bringo, 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 bringo. Mamma mia, si salterà. La 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 salta, gira, gira, ogni coppia cerchio va, già s'avanza, si ritira e l'assalto tornerà. Salta, salta, gira, gira, ogni coppia cerchio va, già s'avanza, si ritira e l'assalto tornerà. Già s'avanza, si ritira e l'assalto tornerà. Presto in danza, tondo, tondo, donne mie, venite tu. Garzon bello e giocondo a ciascuna toccherà. Finché il ciel brilla una stella e la luna splenderà. Il più bel con la più bella tutta notte danzerà. Mamma mia, già la luna in mezzo al mare. Mamma mia, si salterà. Bringo, 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 bringo. Mamma mia, si salterà. Bringo, 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 bringo. Mamma mia, si salterà. La 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 la